Hello everyone! In this video, we'll show you how to install Windows 10 on any PCO laptop. It will walk you through everything you need to know, starting from downloading of Windows 10 to Windows 10, initial setup, procedure, and everything in between in an easy-to-understand step-by-step manner. Also, this video is designed to work even after the discontinuation of Windows 10. So let's get started. Phase 1 Windows 10 Download. The first thing you need to do is to download the Windows 10 ISO image file. As of now, it is available for download from Microsoft, and you can do that by using the Media Creation tool for Windows 10. If you're unsure of your system architecture, you can always check that by going to Settings, System, Event. And look for System Type under Device Specifications, or refer your motherboard manual and then download the appropriate ISO from any source you prefer. Let me show you how to download Windows and ISO directly from Microsoft while it's still possible. Click the Download button under the section Create Windows 10 Installation Media. It will download the Media Creation tool. Go to the download location and run the tool. Now agree to license terms. Choose the option Create Installation Media for another PC and click Next. Uncheck this box called Use the recommended option for this PC. Now you'll be able to manually choose the language, edition, and architecture of your Windows ISO. Choose accordingly, then click Next. Now choose the option ISO file and click Next. Now choose the download location for the ISO file, and that will start the download. Once it is completed, you can access the file by going to the download location. Welcome to Phase 2 Windows 10 Media Creation. Once you download the ISO, it's time to create a bootable flash drive with it so that we can install Windows 10 on your Decide device. And for that, you're going to need a tool called Roofers. So go to this website. Link will be in the video description. Now look into the download section and click a link to download the latest and compatible version of the tool. Since my system, which I'm going to run the tool, is a 64-bit one, I'm going to download the Roofers for Windows x64. Once you get the tool, go to the download location and run the tool. Now, plug in any USB flash drive that has a capacity of a minimum of a GB. Roofers will auto-detect your flash drive, even though just make sure it's the correct one. Now choose the Disco Image option from the boot selection, and it's time to add the ISO file to the Roofers. So click on the Select option and browse and choose the Windows to ISO that we downloaded earlier. Now you need to choose an image option. You can just leave it as the default option, which is standard Windows installation. Now you're going to need to select a partition scheme. You can choose GPT or MBR from here to know which partition scheme is suitable for your system. Go to the Disk Management. You can do that by going to your Start menu. Now, right-click on it and choose the option Disk Management on Disk Management. Just select your C drive. Now, right-click on the Disk option and choose Properties. From here, go to the Volumes tab and look for Parting Style, and you'll find out whether your system uses GPT or MBR. But what if it's a new PC that has no OS installed in it? Don't worry, just use the GPT option without thinking twice, because GPT is a modern parting scheme, part of the UEFI interface. So, in short, every modern computer uses the GPT parting scheme. On the other hand, if your computer is an old one, most likely uses the older BIOS or UEFI SM. In that case, you can choose to go with the legacy method. Third, that is MBRE operation scheme. Now you can hit the Start button and you will see the Windows User Experience pop-up window. Enable the option, Create a local account with username. Now type in your preferred username for your Windows 10 local account, and Rufus will modify the ISO accordingly. You can do it if you just want to create a local account for your Windows 10 instead of using a Microsoft account. Or you should, if you're doing this installation post-discontinuation of Windows 10. Now click OK and you might see this warning message which says, ISO you have selected contains OEFI bootloader that has been revoked, and that will produce a security violation screen when Secure Boot is enabled on a fully up-to-date UEFI system. You obtain this ISO image from a non-repeatable source. You should consider the possibility that it might contain UEFI malware and avoid booting from it. If you obtained it from a trusted source, you should try to locate a more up-to-date version that will not produce this warning. The fact is that you will not find a more up-to-date version of Windows 10 at this point because, as you know, the OIC is at the end of its life cycle, or MI already discontinued if you're watching this video in the future. Also, this is not an error that Rufus's itself encountered, but just a simple warning. Rufus's is trying to warn you about the secure boot vulnerability. The Windows Sting still has and has not been successfully patched to date. And since this is a mere warning, there is no act you can very much press K to continue on this warning no matter where you get the ISO from. You might also encounter this warning message yet. Be careful and make sure to download the Windows in ISO from Associate Trust. So click OK to get past the warning and you will see another pop-up which will ask your permission to format the USB flash drive. You should click OK to continue the process and that will start the Windows 10 USB bootable media creation. It will take a while, so sit back and relax. Once it is finished, you can close the Rufus and safely remove the flash drive from your computer. Welcome to Phase 3 Launch Windows Setup using UEFI or BIOS. Plug in the newly created bootable flash drive to the PC that you want to install Windows on. Turn on the device and keep pressing the BIOS key. For this particular laptop, it's function button 2 or F2, but in your case, it might be the delete key or F tool. It will differ from brand to brand or model to model. So, to know for sure, do a quick Google search or refer your motherboard manual. Anyway, as I said, keep hitting the BIOS key as soon as you started your computer or at least before the boot logo disappears. If you miss it, don't worry. Just restart the computer and try again. Anyway, once you succeeded, it will boot you into your UEFI firmware settings. It is where we can then put into the bootable USB flash drive so that we can start the Winton installation. From here, look for boot menu, boot mode, or something similar like the BIOS key. If you have different UEFI or BIOS menu from brand to brand or model to model. I will try to explain this as best as I can in this particular UEFI interface. It is just a case of going to the boot menu and choosing the USB bootable flash drive that we created, which will start up the Eston installation. If this isn't what your UEFI looks like, there's another common method as well, which is setting your first boot device as the USB bootable flash drive and save and exit. To demonstrate the example, I'm using a different PC, which has a different UEFI interface as we did before. Look for boot menu, boot mode, or like here. Just boot going to the menu and change the first boot option on boot device to the USB bootable flash drive. Now hit F10 on your keyboard and click OK. That will save the settings and will boot you into the Windows 10 installation, just like the other one. Third, one additional tip in some older BIOS. Just after you press the F10 key and save the settings, it might even displace a message that says press any key to continue. If you see that at that point, hit any random key on your keyboard, which is required to boot up the Windows installation setup. In that case of explaining the two most common methods, helpful. Welcome to Phase 4 Windows 10 installation. From here, the first thing you need to do is to choose your preferred language for Windows 10. Now choose your time and currency format and finally choose your preferred keyboard or input method. Then click Next. Now click the Install Now button and wait for a second. It will show you the Microsoft license terms, so check the box. I accept the license terms and click Next. Now choose the option Custom Install Windows Only. It will get us to the crucial part of Windows 10, the disk partition. As you can see, this particular computer has a previous Windows partition, so I'm going to delete them. Before making the new partition, we need to delete any partition. Just select the particular partition and click the Delete button. It will show you a warning dialog box, so click OK to continue with the deletion process. And you can see the deleted partition will be shown as unallocated space, which simply means that part of storage is not assigned to any partition. Now continue deleting all the primary ions as well as the MSR served and system partition. Once you complete deleting your partition, you'll see your entire drive capacity as one big and allocated space. In this case, it is 953.9 gigabits, which is my 1 TB SSD drive. If you want, you can only create a single partition using the entire drive capacity, or you can create multiple ions out of the available storage as well. It is completely up to you. Technically, you can create any number of ions you want, but I don't recommend creating more than 2 ions if the drive capacity is under 1 dB. I understand we have different needs, so I'm going to leave that decision to you. To create a new ion, just select the unallocated space and click on the new button. It will show you the available unallocated space here in MB. In my case, it is showing 9,76,762 MB, which is roughly 1,000 GBs. And out of that 900 plus GBs, I would like my first primary partition to be around for 60 gigabits. So let's send the approximately equivalent amount to that in MB and click the Apply button that will ask your permission to create additional partition for your system files, which is permission to create MSR and system partition alongside the primary partition. So click OK, and we have created the first primary partition that I'm going to install the Windows stand on. If you are confused about converting GB/TMB, just Google GB/TMB converter and you see to convert your design drive size. Now I'm going to create a second partition with the leftover unallocated space. To do that, as we did before, select the unallocated space and click on the New button. It will show you the available unallocated space. And since I'm not planning to create another partition, I'm going to leave the size as is now. Click the Apply button and we have finished creating all the position we need. You might ask why I created a second partition. Like I already said, we all have different needs. In this case, I created it because I want my Windows on a separate partition from my important files, or I could reinstall or reset my PC without affecting my important files. In the event of system corruption or malfunction, trust me, it's a lot easier that way. Anyway, as I said, you can configure your partition however you need or have finished the partition in that case. Let's continue the Windows 10 installation. Just choose a newly created partition or partition you want to install the Windows on. Remember which partition you select for? The installation will be your C drive or system drive. Now click the Next button and you have begun the Windows 10 installation. Make sure you have plugged in if it's a laptop and make sure you have a power backup. If it's a desktop, it will restart your computer many times during the installation. So please try not to interfere the process. It may take a while, so let's wait until it finishes. And here we go. We are almost there. Welcome to Phase 5 Windows in Initial Setup. Choose your country region from here and click Yes. Now select a keyboard layout or input method. Then click Yes. Now ask you if you want to add a second keyboard layout. If yes, click Add Layout and choose a second keyboard layout, or just click the Skip button. Now we'll ask you to connect to the internet. Since we are going for a local account with this installation, we don't need to connect to a network for now. Let's click the I don't have internet option now. Will create us to connect to a network to complete the initial setup. Once again, saying if you do, you can set up things like Microsoft OneDrive, Office 365, and so on and so forth. Don't worry, if you want, you can set up that later. For now, let's click Continue with Limited Setup option, and it will ask you to configure your device privacy settings. So choose as you prefer. Once you made your choice, you can click Accept Now. Wait for some time while it's preparing the desktop. And finally, we'll ask you to configure the privacy settings. Once again, if that happens to you, just choose as you previously did and hit the Accept button. And there you go. You have successfully installed the Windows 10. But wait, it isn't over yet. We have one more thing to do. Just restart your system and it will ask you to set up a new password for your local account. It will ask you to enter the old password. Don't worry, Rufus will not set up a default password, so you can leave that field empty. Now enter your design password into the second field and repeat the same in the last one. Hit enter and you have successfully created a password for your Windows 10 local account. And we have finally reached the end of the guide. Thank you so much for watching. If you found it helpful, Please like, subscribe, and share. See you soon with the next one. Thank you for watching us.